This is Gabriel with Casual Bricks, and today I'm here at Brickmania in Chantilly, Virginia at their Capital Store. Brickmania was generous enough today to let me use their store for my video. For this video today, I'm joined by two special guests, that is Justin and Rosa. Aside from our shared hobby of Lego collecting, there is another aspect that we share, and that is military service. Justin and I are veterans, and Rosa is still serving on active duty. Today we are going to discuss Lego collecting, our military experience, and the unique consideration military members have being Lego collectors. Before we get into the discussion, if you like what you are seeing, help me grow this channel by hitting that subscribe button below. Okay, Rosa, so why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself?
Yes, sure. So I joined the Marine Corps 2003 in the wake of the war, and I'm still active duty, so I'm in 20 years already. I'm a gunnery sergeant. I currently work in communication security, and I've been stationed in California majority of my career. I just recently came from Okinawa, and now I'm stationed here in Virginia.
Okay. Was it Camp Pendleton?
I was in Camp Pendleton, Miramar, and beautiful 29 Palms.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard of 29 Palms.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is. It's
usually not beautiful, but
well, it is and it isn't. It just, eye of the beholder. I enjoyed it because of the isolation and the peacefulness. And if you're into astronomy, it's a great place to be and kind of pick up a hobby like that.
Okay.
But everything is far away, so that's the downfall.
Okay. All right. And Justin?
Yes. So I was 10 years Air Force active duty, working on GEOINT, stationed at Langley Air Force Base, Ramstein, and then back here in the National Capital Region before I separated. And now I'm just a contractor with the DoD.
Okay. Also, I'm U.S. Army, did 7 years. I was in the, SIGINT collection, so intel support. Stationed in Korea, Maryland, and Colorado, and did once I got out also continued to support the military and DoD as a contractor here in the National Capital Region. Okay, starting with you, Rosa, when did you first start collecting?
So I started collecting Legos in 2022. I was in Okinawa at that time, and I was, I think, the end of watching The Mandalorian, right? So I go to the mall, and it's probably the only Lego store on island, and just looking around, I see the Mandalorian helmet, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I purchased my first Lego set right then and there.
Okay.
And then the following week, they had a back order of Luke Skywalker's wing fighter helmet on there as well. And I said to myself, that is also the coolest thing. I need to have it. And that's how my downfall just went from there, because I saw the Millennium Falcon, the medium-sized one, the R2-D2, and that's how my collection started.
Okay. Yes. And I guess if I asked you why you started collecting,
I'm going to blame The Mandalorian. Okay. I thought that was a pretty cool show. The bounty hunters are my favorite part of Star Wars, like Boba Fett. I think they're, my favorite character. So when I watched The Mandalorian and everything about it, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. That's the one I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Justin, how long have you been collecting?
So officially, probably about 7-8 years. I mean, I've had Lego sets since I was a kid, but I didn't really get into it that much until about 7-8 years ago. So it started for me with I like to work on cars, and working on cars is very expensive, and I assumed Lego would be a better option for me. So I started with the collecting of like the Speed Champions, the Technic, all the cars, and it just kind of grew from there. So now any car I see, I'm just like, I need to build it.
Okay, so your trigger point for Lego collecting was cheaper than
building cars.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I started collecting back in 2011. I was stationed at Fort Meade in Maryland, and the Arundel Mills Mall had a Lego store in it. And just killing time walking around the mall. That was the first Lego store I ever went to, and walking inside, I was just blown away because when I was a kid, I had the Knights, and Blacktron like space sets, but then seeing like the DeLorean, the Ecto Cruiser, or I just butchered that, but the Ectomobile from Ghostbusters, all these newer sets. I was just, you know, like y'all said, kind of blown away. So what is your favorite line or theme? Which I guess I already know.
It's Star Wars, my favorite theme. So I'm always on the lookout for what's the next big thing in Star Wars. And, you know, if you see it on the shelf and it's too pricey, I'll be like, okay, oh, what would I do? I'm like a big kid with a credit card.
Right.
You know, so it just needs to happen because I come back and it's gone. And I probably either won't see it again because it's probably retired, or I say I'm going to get it later on online and I never do because then I'm buying some other thing on the Lego website online. Like, you know, I'll forget. But I do dabble a little on the adult side of the Legos, like the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
I have those. I also do dabble on the Super Nintendo world. I have the Bowser, which now I got to find him a piano, so he could do the whole scene.
Yeah, the Peaches song.
Peaches song. Yeah, so I'm looking for a piano now, a grand piano.
There is a grand piano set. Yes, it's like $350. It's quite pricey.
Yeah, so it's going to happen. So by the end of this year, I'll probably, you know, get my Bowser his little piano.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. And Justin?
Speed Champions and Technic. I also do dabble in other series or collections. In the theater room and at our house, we have like anything movie related. So we have some of the Star Wars sets and the other things like the Mario Cube we open it all up from Nintendo 64. That was like one of the big games, Mario 64, when I played when I was a kid. So it's like, well, I got to have this. It connects all the dots with my hobbies. So.
Yeah, as people probably know that if they watch my channel. If you don't, please do. Harry Potter is my favorite theme, although I think it's just getting a little repetitive. They keep releasing the same sets. And there was a gap where they quit producing it like in 2011, and then they brought it back in 2018. So I think it's kind of lost appeal because now it's just coming out with new sets every 6 months. And I want to keep collecting it, but it is, like I said, getting repetitive. I do like Speed Champions, and I have a lot of those sets, and those are staying on the cheaper end, relatively speaking to other sets that Lego produces. You know, cars now $26.99, but that's still cheaper than a $99 Harry Potter set. So, do you think there's a larger military affiliated Lego community out there, or it's just a unique situation that all of us share the same hobby, and then in the case of me and Justin work in the same office, or work with your husband in the same office? Is that unique, or there's actually quite a bit of military AFOLs out there?
I mean, I think there is some truth to that, and military always kind of leaning towards Lego sets. It being stationed in Okinawa and going to a Lego store, I would see a lot of the customers be military. You could tell by the haircuts, you know, and they would be looking at the Star Wars section or the like adult collection. And obviously, you know, some things were a little, you know, expensive than others, but they would always walk out of that store with a Lego set. And plus, we tend to always kind of get stuck with the things we like. So if I like Marvel, now if I see a Marvel, you know, piece or a DC, you know, character, now I'm getting it as a Lego or, you know, something to put to a collection. I don't know. And maybe being overseas, having a Lego kind of really keeps you a little close to home. It's a little piece of America that you have there, you know?
And I guess you brought the point. That first Lego store I went to is right outside the gate of Fort Meade at the mall. As we talked about, Justin, the DC capital region, I don't want to call it a Lego mecca, but there is a lot of Lego in
pretty close.
Yeah. We got 3 stores here in Northern Virginia area. You went to the one out in Montgomery?
Yes, yeah.
So there's one in Montgomery, Annapolis, and I believe, where I was at.
I don't know.
The Potomac Mills?
Potomac.
Yes. That's the only one.
Potomac Mills here in Virginia.
Right.
Arundel Mills.
Okay,
Arundel,
okay.
yeah.
That's somewhere else.
So yeah, there's 3 in Maryland, 3 here in Virginia. They're all within an hour of each other in perfect driving conditions. And a Discovery Center, which I did not go to yet, though I'm told you need a kid to actually get into like a Discovery Center. And then of course there's stores like this, Brickmania here in Northern Virginia. So I'm just bringing this up because people associate this area to the DoD and politics, things of that nature. But I think there's obviously a lot of Lego commercialization in this area. Do you think Lego has a special or unique appeal to the military? Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
I think it does.
Yeah,
in some way.
I agree. I think for me, it's like in the military, constantly being hands-on, working on something, doing that, and then I guess when I separated, it wasn't as active. So for me, it provides that kind of escape from reality of just you're just putting something together with your hands and building something that you can collect.
Yes, I like that you brought up that point because that's something I think too. Like, it's something we put our hands on, we work with, and then there's an end product. Right. Look what I did.
Exactly.
And you can't dispute the therapeutic value, which there's a lot of people, you see it online, that they find therapy through Legos that are former military members, dealing with their experiences overseas and things like that. What are some of the challenges that we face collecting Lego while being in the military or being affiliated to the DoD enterprise?
You want to go first?
Yeah, so I will say I luckily only had to do one move.
Okay.
And it was a lot of fun. We'll call it that. So I couldn't even count how many sets I had to move, but it was putting all the seats down. Luckily for me, I just had to drive, but it was a few hours. So it's like put everything down and then hope it doesn't break. So that's always been a very interesting part, but it also plays into if I want to move again or change, duty stations. It's, do I want to move all the Lego? Like everything else, I trust packers and movers, just throw it in a box and we'll get it there. But the Lego, just like everything has to be in its little space and make sure it's not breaking. And then when it breaks, it's like, well, I got to go through the mountains of directions I keep downstairs and find it and make sure I put it together correctly.
Yeah. With me, because I did start collecting Legos in Okinawa, I didn't open any of my Legos. They remain in boxes till this time. Yes. Because if I took it out of the box and I built it, same thing, I was already getting, I was preparing for PCS. And I said to myself, if I build it, I got to tear it all down. I got to put it, it's going to all go in a Ziploc bag as long as I have the instructions. And I know it's going to be terrible putting that together when all the pieces are mixed up in the box. So I decided to keep it all enclosed in a box and in an empty room. And that's how it just stacked up. So it was easier for me right now at this moment to move. I did create one, but as soon as I moved to Virginia, I opened up one of my Legos, and it was the Fender guitar. So my daughter, and my daughter and I, we built it together. She had a lot of fun. She's only 12, and it was a difficult piece for what it was. Yeah. But that was the first Lego I actually opened since coming from overseas, because I wanted to prevent the whole moving and pieces falling apart. And even if you buy the plastic canisters to protect it, it's still going to fall apart. Yeah.
Wow. So how long did they sit in a box?
Oh, they are still in the box because we're in the process of purchasing a house. Okay. So I'm going to finally say I'm going to open all my Lego boxes and put them on display. Plan is to have them in the rec room, maybe movie room as well. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. I plan on keeping all my boxes. That's for sure. Wow. And that's Tupperware. All right.
That's a whole other. That's another topic.
To throw or keep. But you brought up the keeping them in boxes.
I did.
Being able to build them. I think that's definitely something that Lego military collectors have challenges with.
Yes.
In the case, I did a year in Iraq, 2021 through 2022. I was purchasing Lego that entire time, not building Lego. So I think that's another thing we face, whether you're in Jordan or when I was also in Jordan, like being overseas and continuing to purchase them, because we do, and then having them pile up at the house.
That's great. I love opening the room or the closet and just looking at all my precious just there waiting one day to be open.
Well, I guess I don't have quite the level. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of work.
It is. When the packers came to pack my house, I was a little uneasy because I'm, trustworthy of anyone touching my babies, but they put them all in the boxes, they're on separate boxes. So when they came back, I had to open my box to verify all my Legos are there. I did do my personal inventory on an Excel spreadsheet. Okay. So I need to make sure all my babies are back. Yeah, I even put an air tag in the Lego box. I did. Okay. All my babies need to come back home with me. And they're there now. It's a matter of when can I open it? I hope they're safe. The humidity or, environment doesn't get to it and ruin my boxes. Well, the things I worry about.
Yeah.
I can just think of other soldiers, Marines out there. You're at your duty station. You get the FTX for 3 weeks. So you're out in the field. In the case here, it's May the 4th be with you. You might not get to make that sale because you're too busy out sleeping in tents and digging trenches and things like that. So that's an unfortunate aspect being in the military. Can't always purchase Lego. So, do you have a Holy Grail set?
Yes. So I have my AT-AT.
Okay.
From Star Wars, of course.
Yeah.
And the Venator aircraft, the Republic cruise.
Yes, the Republic attack cruise.
Yes, thank you, Venator. I also have my smaller little pieces that I do love, like my Sesame Street set, because I still, again, a big kid with a credit card, so it has a little Elmo and the Big Bird guy.
Did you get that set, or it's on your?
No, I have the set.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had Winnie the Pooh, but we're not going to get into that one.
I have Sesame Street and Winnie the Pooh. I have the ATA Walker.
Yes.
The Venator, I think it looks really awesome.
Yeah.
But Star Wars just one of those slippery slopes because those sets are obviously the most expensive Lego produces, like hands down.
Yeah.
The ATA, I think, is $850.
Just about.
Yeah.
But, because I got it overseas, I think I might have saved a little bit because of the yen rate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never even thought of that. Price conversion.
It's cheaper to fly over.
Yes, totally. But so that's why I think why I have so many, because I took advantage of the yen rate while I was overseas. Because when I got here and I went in the store, because now I see U.S. dollars attached to it. I don't see yen attached to the price.
Yeah.
But I did get the Venator before coming back. I was like, it's going to be on my to-go pack.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And
so I would have to go with the Porsche 911 GT3 RS.
Okay, nice.
Technic, the orange. So I have the other 911 RSR.
Yeah.
But I just kind of missed it. It's been retired, so it's like that set that I still want to get, but its prices are never going to come down, it seems.
Yes, I do have that set. That was the first, I think, of the Technic supercars, those high-end ones. I believe that was $299 when it came out. Now they're like $430, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some,
which I do own too, but yeah, now those really jumped in price.
Yeah, well, that one specifically I've seen for over $1,000, and it's just like because it's been retired.
Yes, I have seen that in the aftermarket, still available. Yes, for just an outrageous.
Maybe one day, but that's why it's that set that it's like we'll get there. We'll get there.
My Holy Grail set would be the modular set, the Grand Emporium. It was set 10211, it was only 150 when it was out, and this was back in 2011, and I never got it, and that's why it's my holy grail set, because while I was in the Army, that was quite a bit of change for me, which is why I quite didn't collect Lego like that at the time. But just knowing the fact that I could have gotten it, I always looked at it. I thought it looked really great, and I never did. And now, unfortunately, it's something that I think about. It did pop up in a Facebook Marketplace I saw, but it's like $700, and me personally, I can't picture spending $700 not at the Lego store, because I want those points.
The VIP points.
Yes, I want the VIP points, or I can do things that would help me towards my other sets that are currently available at Lego. So, if licensing or design was no issue, what would be a dream Lego set or build?
Oh, yeah. So I think
you choose more than one if there's some.
So because I'm a really big car guy, and that's like my other hobby, I think it'd be really cool to just have like my cars, so
Okay.
They have some sets like the older Camaro, but I have one of the newer ones, the ZL1 1LE, and it's like I wish I could have like that one too, so I could have the older one and the newer one, and then just I think it'd be really cool to have just go and choose like I want my car.
That would, and I would definitely get one of my Honda Accord.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I would get a Honda Accord.
And get one of my wife's Honda Pilot.
Yeah.
Here's our car.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's really funny.
It's like I don't know if that's me going like I have a problem if I want to make everything I own into Lego. But yeah, it's like I think that would be probably the one that comes at the top of the head.
Okay, all right.
For me, it would be like classic bands. The design of classic bands, their logos. You know how the Rolling Stones has the mouth with the tongue, but because I'm not really big on the Rolling Stones, I wish they had Legos, either the sets, with the little figurines of the actual band members, or the name, like for example, Metallica one, and it's all big and gray, and I could just hang it on my wall, like the art.
Yeah.
Something like that, but classic bands.
Yeah, that would be something, especially like with the old album covers.
Exactly.
Guns N' Roses,
Guns N'
Appetite
Roses
for
yes.
Destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, you said Metallica, I don't know that the Black Album.
Well, not that one, but maybe just the actual Metallica album, though.
Yeah.
That one with the lettering M and the A coming out that way.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. Or a Queen, AC/DC, like all the classic rock bands. Yeah. And just kind of have them like on display like art.
Yeah, Lego's touched on music a bit. There's the Lego Idea set that was the Yellow Submarine from the Beatles. You mentioned Rolling Stones. They have
that one.
The lips or tongue, whatever.
Yeah.
We know the image. I can't speak about it right now. But no, that'd actually be a pretty good idea, the album covers. And that's something on a kind of semi-off topic I talked to my daughter about not too long ago. Like when we were growing up, I knew album covers.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Nirvana Nevermind, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction.
Yes.
They were just well-known images, whether it's posters or t-shirts. Like I can still pick them out. And I don't think that's quite the same thing with music now. Like I couldn't tell you what the latest... I'm sure I'll get heat for this Taylor Swift album cover look like,
Yeah.
But like I said, I could still picture out what Oasis's album cover looked like from the 90s.
Yeah.
Personally, a set I would love to see would be Patty's Pub.
Oh, yeah.
From It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be a fantastic set. And they do TV shows for Lego. If we could get a Patty's Pub, I think that'd be awesome. And another one would be, I guess, because the other movie came out, the Double Deuce from the Roadhouse, the original movie in 1999.
Get a Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like
you hit it. It would be first. I get those two minifigures of Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott. That would be worth the set alone, in my opinion. So, I mean, with that, is there any other? Now that you think about it.
Oh, man,
right?
Well, for me, luckily, the F1 cars have been starting to roll out.
Okay.
They had the McLaren 2 years ago, and the Mercedes just dropped the larger Technic sets. So I was kind of really happy to see those. Those were always ones that was like, oh, I'd love to see F1 cars. So now that those are starting to roll, I hope they just keep going with, because Aston is another great one that I think they already have kind of some deals. Ferrari. So
I got one. Maybe think about this: the Christmas Story house.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Well, the lamp.
The lamp.
Oh, that'd be a great
yeah.
standalone.
That would be awesome. That actually
Make
works.
it
That actually,
That actually works.
to scale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
scale. That would be a
That would
fantastic.
be
Yes.
really cool.
Okay. So, how has Lego affected your relationship, or has it in any way?
Well, initially at first, when I first bought my Mandalorian helmet, my husband, Ryan, thought, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, because obviously we watched Mandalore together. Then I got the other helmet and the other helmet, and then started D2, and he was starting to see a pattern. And he was like, you have a problem. I was like, no, I don't.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You know, it makes me happy, damn it. So little by little, I would buy Legos without him knowing, and I would just put them in the closet or in an empty room, and it would just go there. I wouldn't show him what I bought. I would buy them. So after some time, he'll go in the closet or open the room, and he'll be like, what's that? I'm like, it's always been there. You know, so it's just one of those things where now I'm playing a hooky. So I can go out and get the Lego sets because now I have that rush that I'm gonna hide it from him, and it's great. So I'll put it in the room, and yeah, after a while, and he saw how much I was piling up, he basically told me I had a problem. But now he enables my addiction, because when he goes out, Walmart or Target, and he'll go straight into the Lego aisle and he'll take a picture of something Star Wars and say, do you have this?
Okay.
And I'll say either yes or no. If I say no, then he'll buy it for me.
That's very
So
nice.
now I think he's coming around. Yeah. So I think it worked out in a positive way, because now he's kind of semi-involved in the things I like. And when I did build the first Lego at the new house with his Defender, and that's the only thing I had, my daughter was there to help, and he was helping out too, because, you know, it was a little difficult to build. So it just kind of brought us more together. So,
Oh, no,
yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, for me, it's not a challenge. It's the space thing, where I have, like, it started just in my office, and then now it's in the movie theater, and now it's in the rest of the basement, and it's creeping upstairs. So my wife is really big with, like, if we have space, you can get more, but we don't have the space. And so it's just turned into, like, redesigning the office spaces and building new shelves and doing all this stuff specifically to fit the Lego sets. But it has brought us closer together with, after dinner, just sitting down, building sets, and kind of like having that bonding time, that decompression time to just build random things. And those things specifically are like her interests. She really likes the UK, London. She has some family there and friends. So it's like, oh, we'll build like the UK bus, or the town square, whatever it was. I can't think of the name of what it's called, but
Yeah.
anything that she likes, she's like, well, I'll help you build that, 'cause that's interesting, you know. But yeah, it hasn't really been an issue or a problem, minus the space. I just need a bigger Lego room. That's all.
Just go to IKEA and just IKEA the heck out of that office. You know?
And you're near an IKEA.
Yeah, no, it's like I got one really close.
My daughter's not necessarily into Legos, but the Lego room is a stop for any friend that comes visit.
Yeah.
Oh, come check out the Lego.
Yeah.
So she's proud and likes to show it off, but doesn't necessarily into building or anything of that nature. Although she has noticed if she wants a set, I have no problem getting it. She's like, hey, I want this Avatar set. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's yours. You know, so
But my girls are the same way. They just know, they're like, this is the way for me to get. Like, I want the Hogwarts castle. And I'm like, all right, bye. Okay.
Yeah. So my daughter knows if she asks for anything Lego related, it's automatically hers. So,
Yeah.
Did you ever have to PCS and move your Lego collection? And
Oh,
obviously, yeah,
yeah, because I didn't get a chance to build them any in Okinawa, so they all remain in a box.
and that was with the air tag.
Air tags and everything, and keeping track. Hey, where's my boxes at? Because that's my first priority when I got here. Checking up on the babies, see where they're at.
Did you actually see it like on the? Because I take it went through ship container.
I don't remember. Because it only picks up with the tag, I guess, when there's somebody else with like an iPhone. I believe that's how it works. So it shows it being in Okinawa, and then we got here, and then it was still there, and I'm just getting nervous, like, okay, why hasn't it not moved? And then a couple days later, it showed that it was already in the States, in Maryland somewhere. Yeah. So they made it safe.
Sitting on a dock at Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had to move your.
Yes, luckily it wasn't anything overseas or across the country, but it was still a very large pain. Just because I don't disassemble them to reassemble. So it's just loading them up into the car over and over and over again to make sure they're good. So it's all the blankets down, and then it's putting them and making sure they're kind of separated so they don't overlap, so nothing kind of breaks or scuffs or peels a sticker, and then I have to rebuild it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I had to move my collection, which in Maryland it wasn't that many. It's 4 or 5 sets, to Colorado when I PCS'd, and I broke them all down at that point. Put them in Ziplocs with their instruction manuals, and had to rebuild them in Colorado, which thankfully wasn't a large collection, so I was able to do it. And then from Colorado back here to Virginia with that move, I kept them all assembled because there's a lot more sets. So yes, same thing. As best as I could, put some in a box, still assembled. That way they'd stay semi together in case they got knocked around. And then some of the sets, like Sydney Opera House, is a big sturdy set. Just kept that assembled and hoped for the best when I moved from Colorado out here to Maryland, or out here to Virginia. Moved into an apartment because we're in the process of buying a house. So yeah, what y'all couldn't even fully get them out and display it until we got to our house. So thankfully, won't have to move again. Hopefully, although I mentioned if we move again, it's a consideration. Like, what are we going to do with this collection? How are we going to move it? Is a new home going to be able to house?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, any new home I have is going to be able to house.
Yeah, it has to.
That's true.
It has to have a Lego room no matter what.
Yeah. Or maybe just build on top of a garage, just a whole studio.
That's a good idea. That's nice. Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah, it would.
Then alarm it separately.
Yeah.
What was your best duty station? And that can mean living wise, or assignment wise. Doesn't have to be a combination of both. Because I loved Colorado. I did not particularly. It wasn't my favorite assignment, but Colorado was fantastic.
I think we could agree. We enjoyed being down in San Diego when I was in Miramar, and my husband was at MCRD.
Okay.
The location was fantastic. We had SeaWorld nearby. We had the ocean. PB was nearby, and the housing was off base. So we actually had an actual single story home with a backyard. So I think living wise, I would say that was like the best duty station we were at. And of course, talking about, I want to be out, in isolation because I'm into astronomy, would be 29 Palms, which is not a bad place to be, but it has to grow on you. But I think number one would be Miramar.
Nice.
For us.
I mean, easily Ramstein. I mean, it's just, you're in Germany. So maybe not so much for being in Germany, but just the ability to travel from there. So Germany's great in itself, but you have just super cheap flights, just pop around, or you hop on a train and go anywhere.
Yeah, as I just said, my best assignment was Fort Meade, work-wise, but living-wise, Colorado hands down favorite place. Living on an Air Force base.
Yeah.
And moving from an Army base at Fort Meade to an Air Force base in Colorado Springs.
Real different.
Absolutely night and day. And the housing there, I think, was only like 3 or 4 years old, but by far just the best living I've been at for a military base was definitely the Air Force base there at Colorado Springs. Colorado's just a great, like I said, a lot of outdoor stuff, a lot of natural sites. There's Garden of the Gods, Pikes Peak. And at the time, I know I don't look now as a runner. So for runners, it was just a place to be. They had free running clubs that hosted 10Ks and 5Ks all the time. So that was definitely a great aspect of it.
I'm just kidding.
With
Running.
3 mile.
Oh, I know. Well,
3 miles, right?
Yeah, it's 3 miles. But when it's kind of forced on you to do it, it just becomes a thing where now you don't like it. You don't enjoy it as much. So.
Yeah. Only did 2 miles there in the Army.
1.5.
Oh, man.
So.
Oh, man. Joined the wrong service. What's going on here?
I don't suppose anyone knows the Navy's standard.
Do they run? Do they?
You're right. That's what.
Oh, man.
No, I'm gonna get crap for that.
Yeah.
Well, Navy's not here to defend them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, the best MRE side, pound cake or jalapeno cheese or jalapeno cheese spread?
Jalapeno cheddar. The cheese spread? Easy.
Yeah, gotta agree with him because you can put that on anything.
Yeah.
The pound cake was kind of heavy and dry and just makes you like extra thirsty. But actually, from the MREs, I did enjoy the shakes.
Really? I don't think I made one MRE.
I was like, this is too risky for me.
Well, being at MCT where we go after boot camp, that's what we had to eat. They'll just give us MREs, and I had no idea about the 3,000 calorie each bag contains. So here I am eating like 3 a day. Yeah, I learned my lesson the hard way, but I just love the shake. And everyone was, and I was like, there's just something about it. It was delicious.
I'm going to have to find one and give this a shot.
Yeah, I am, because, I don't think I ever bothered to make the shake. I didn't even bother, I think, to make the punch or the Gatorade and the whatever the mixed drink was.
Well, because then it was like,
stayed away.
Some people are like, put in your canteen. I'm like, but then it ruins your canteen. The rest of your, so like now you just have that residue in there all the time.
And I guess considering when we'd be out in the field, they couldn't even make our victory punch that they put in the coolers. That was not good, for lack of a better word. So I wasn't definitely going to try the MRE, but now I am slightly curious.
I'm curious.
Well, I'm just staying away from all MREs. Like, nope. Like as I became, up in the ranks, and we would go out of the field, I would not touch an MRE. I'll bring my snacks, or I'll just eat. If they had like a chow hall out there, I would eat that and my whatever snacks I brought. But I would not have MRE. I learned my lesson.
Even as you got higher up, did you get first pick?
No, we let the junior Marines eat first.
Okay, all right. So they got.
So you always got, what is it, the vegetarian?
Veggie omelet.
It'll get what do you say? It's the term rat fucked.
Yeah.
Say that on.
Well, I'll bleep out.
Okay, that and then you're like, what is going on here? So you have packages of random things because they'll take out the good stuff that they want first.
The tortellini.
Yeah, the tortellini.
Chili mat. Go.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a military term, rat. Won't say the second half. But that means to go about stealing out.
It is. I still say it sometimes.
Or excuse me, we don't steal.
Oh,
yes,
no.
we acquire.
Yes, we acquire.
Tactically
acquire things. So if you don't want it taken, you shouldn't have left it out. Looking at.
Didn't see your name on it.
Exactly.
No name, fair game. No.
Yeah.
No name, fair game. So, second question. You're still in. Any habit picked up from the military that you, I guess, do outside?
Oh God, it's the worst thing ever. So, in uniform, we cannot walk and be on our cell phone at the same time, right? And it's always been a thing. So even when I'm not in uniform, I find myself stopping while I'm in civilian attire to check my phone or make a phone call. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm in civilian attire. I can walk and talk on my cell phone. Another thing, I see myself not putting my hands in my pocket. Again, I don't know if it's the brainwashing, like, oh no, no hands in your pockets because it looks unprofessional. So now that's something I don't do. Wearing civilian attire, don't put my hands in my pockets. And and always being the field day when I clean my house, I clean it as if someone's going to come in and inspect it. But it's just now part of me because I know how I'm cleaning it. I'm cleaning it super white glove, spectacular. I could eat off of it, kind of cleaning. So I think that's a good thing that I
That's a good call. Do you use stuff other than Simple Green?
Oh yeah, no, that's just the worst thing ever. You can't do Simple Green.
I don't think I've seen anything outside military.
Oh, it's so stinky. That's it's the worst.
It's funny. I don't think I ever, when I was civilian, and even now as a civilian, put my hands in my pocket. But when I was in uniform, there was the
urge to do it. It's like, I can't do this, so I want to do this.
Exactly.
It was forbidden.
Yeah.
I felt I need to put my hands in my pocket. So, Justin, you have a
decision making efficiently. I think that is, but it's been to my detriment now being on the civilian side of things, like because I'm just so used to like make a decision and stick to it, and we're gonna roll.
Sure.
And so it at times does get me in trouble at home. So that's one thing that's definitely stuck. And again, the hands in the pockets, the walking, talking on the cell phone. Minor things, obviously not hair or beard. That was way gone. First thing to go. But yeah, I think those are the pretty basics. So there's a lot of things that are just instilled. I think still to this day, I find myself, standing up when people walk in the room that maybe are outrank me or elder.
Yes,
basic things like that. A good one that I didn't think about. But
it's constant. It's just that ingrained. Yes, sir. No, yes, ma'am. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and even given the proper greeting, like I do that. I see myself doing that. If I'm walking into, an establishment and someone's holding the door for me, I'll say, "Oh, good morning, sir. Thank you." And I'm like, "Oh."
People think it's weird.
Like, what? You're giving me the greeting of the day?
Yeah, don't talk to me.
Yeah, even to the cashier, anybody that I'm encountering, I'll say, "Oh, hey, good morning." Just one of those things that it's common courtesy.
Yes, and that's something I found slightly weird being on the civilian side, having officers, "Hey, sir." And it's like, oh, I'm not a
pump the brakes.
Yes.
I work for a living.
So yes, having sometimes being addressed as sir is a little different. And like you said, still standing up, even to people now, still say sir to them. Because I'm like, you're a major, you're lieutenant colonel. I don't care that I'm civilian, you're still outrank me, and that's the position you're in. So I will give the courtesy calling you that.
But it's also like a Southern hospitality. Sir or ma'am, even, they do not a rank on their shoulders. It's still, just, again, common courtesy to call them sir or ma'am.
And something that I still do knife hands sometimes. Talking.
Depends on who I'm talking to. Yeah.
But
what are you talking about?
You might even see it in some of my videos. I'll be.
But you're pointing to something, right?
Yeah, I'm pointing, but yes, do knife hands.
Yeah. Punctuality is another one. Yeah. It's always that, something starts at 10. I say 9:45, but that actually means 9:30. So like it's that back it up every time. So I'm there an hour early, or try to be.
Means you're on time. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite military phrase or lingo?
Jeez. Can't probably say it on YouTube. But, it's like in every sentence, it's like the F-bomb, or, when you're having informal conversations, with buddy or family and things like that.
It's funny you mentioned the swearing or cursing, because when I come back from a deployment, my wife brought that up. It's like, when you come back, or she's like, I know you've just come back aside from you being here, because every other word is a curse word. It's like, you know how to stop to think about it. And then that wears off as I'm home. But like, I love the phrase soup sandwich. I laugh when I even catch it like on memes or military memes. I see soup sandwich. I just think that's such a great phrase or term.
one we used to get a lot was if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. So, so
Mhm.
especially as juniors, so it's just like, don't be standing around, be cleaning something.
Yeah,
Or
something.
don't say you're
Don't
bored.
say, yeah,
Yeah.
never say.
You're bored,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm bored. Oh,
Yeah.
take care of
Yeah.
that real fast.
Yeah.
How we go rake the sand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Paint rocks.
Or we called that, what was it, area beautification?
Yes.
So, is there a guilt pleasure movie y'all have?
Oof, man. Major Pain would be one of my little.
Really? My daughter loves that movie.
Yeah.
I showed it to her.
I think it came out when I was maybe a sophomore in high school, 96 or something like that. It's very old, but I could watch Major Pain every day, all day. It's too funny. Same thing with like Ace Ventura Pet Detective and any Chevy Chase vacation movies. I think that's annual thing, you know, during Christmas and stuff.
So, did Major Payne make you want to join the Corps to be a combat killing machine?
Yeah, right. Well, I was in ROTC
Okay.
when it came out, but it was Army ROTC in high school. And ever since then, I wanted to join the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Yeah. And like Damon Wayans, he's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that, you know, being in ROTC and that movie had just come out, a lot of things we picked and choose and we said it while we were, you know, in school. So, yeah. When he yelled in his ear, Tubby.
Yeah,
And,
Tubbit.
Tubbit, yeah.
Tubbit.
Say,
I'll tell you what, Bacon Boy, you made room for lunch.
It's like, you better hold it, I'll kick that thing all over the place. And the little boy's like,
Yes. Yeah, there were some good ones.
Yeah. So sad.
I think for me, it's maybe not necessarily a movie, but a series. For some reason, I always been being deployed to revert back to like watching The Office.
Sure.
I don't know if it's just like
Best
a
thing ever. Yes.
comfort thing or what it
Yeah.
is, but it's just I always tend to go back to that. I love Steve Carell too.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, a deployed series I picked up was Letterkenny.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know nothing about it. All these people were watching it, and I was like, okay, why are we watching like Canadian
TV.
And then sure enough, I was like, hey, this is fantastic.
Exactly.
Watching it. But movie wise, I love the movie Roll Bounce with Bow Wow. It's a roller skating movie set in the
okay.
70s.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I will
Okay,
defend that movie.
That was a good movie. Okay.
You don't have to.
No,
it is what it
you're
is.
justified.
But I think part of me, because I kind of thought it was an okay movie when I first watched it.
Mhm.
Then I watched it with my daughter, who was like maybe 4 or 5, and then she really liked it. So it's kind of been like our thing to like Roll Bounce, something to share with her. So, speaking of the movies, is there annoying portrayal you find of military in the movies or in TV?
Well, there's one particular movie. It's with Sylvester Stallone, obviously.
Okay.
And he's out in the woods, in the jungle, and he gets on a 50 caliber, and he has all these rounds, and he's just shooting away. Like,
that's Rambo 4?
One of the Rambos.
Yeah.
He's just he's shooting so much ammo out of that 50 cal, and I'm just waiting to see when he's going to, change the barrel. Because, after
he does do a reload.
After a couple of minutes there shooting, he's just shooting away, and I was like, okay, that barrel should be getting really hot by now. Yeah.
He could have probably picked it up just with their hands to change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I noticed that they didn't at least go somewhere else, or made him like stop and go with something else. I don't know. Just one of the things.
He did not do a barrel change.
He did not do a barrel change.
And actually, doesn't he shoot the driver? He turns it downward. Yeah. And he shoots the driver of the truck with it. But yes, I know. I want to say that's Rambo 4.
That was one of them. Yeah. Movies I think about the barrel change.
No, any military movie or action is always interesting about especially reloads. Seems like how many rounds are you got there, buddy? It's like, you just never reload, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
So I always find that interesting.
It is.
Okay.
For me, it's there's several, but one always in the movie, they're in the Marines, they're in the Army, whatever. They're always wearing their ID tags or what's called dog tags by the civilian world all the time.
On the outside.
On the outside, they're wearing them.
Yeah.
They're out of the military, back home, wearing
them.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know about y'all, but I wore them in basic because we had to.
Yeah.
AIT because we had to. And then any other time there's going to be an inspection. Let me see your.
Yeah, the dog tags.
Yeah. Other than that, I do.
When you're deployed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, just tied it into my boot. I was like,
yeah, there it is. It's
good
there.
enough for government work.
Yes. Hey, great phrase.
There it is. There's no one.
But yes, like in the movies, they always show that they have, like, it's just so part of them, they can't not have it. I'm like, ugh, maybe that's some people's experience. I didn't see anybody wear them outside of having to wear it.
Unless you were in Oceanside, California. You see the young Marines with their dog tags out and wearing their backpacks just to make sure everyone knew they were Marines.
If you could choose one song to play every time you walked into a room, what would it be? You can't do the Marine Corps hymn.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, that means I would have to stand at attention.
Oh, that's true.
Okay, so
Actually, you
Can't even walk into
I
that.
know, I gotta wait until it's done, and then I probably have to sing with it.
Yeah.
Sing it. No. For me, it would be "For Whom the Bell Tolls" by Metallica.
Yes,
That's actually a really good one.
that would.
Just makes me want to, yeah, bitch, drink my coffee and have Metallica in the morning.
See, for me recently, it's been "Watch the World Burn" by Falling in Reverse. It's kind of really out there, but a stable. It's going to be Boston Foreplay, long time. You know,
All right.
yeah, that little slow build. You know, it's just like a classic.
Yeah. For me, it'd be Rough Riders Anthem by DMX.
Oh
I love the opening to that song. As long as that played, that would be good.
Yeah.
You're right, because the rest of the song would be.
yeah.
But if you're just getting a little portion,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
great.
just talking like that first 15, 20 seconds that I come into the room, have that opening
Oh, okay.
salvo there. I think that would be pretty good. Because then, yes, I don't need DMX barking.
No one chose the national anthem. I thought maybe.
Well, because we couldn't, actually, we couldn't walk. We'd stop, yes, and go to attention.
Yeah.
You know? All right, so that's it for our discussion today. I want to thank y'all for joining me today. I'd like to thank Brickmania for allowing us to use their space. Here are some of their sets, V22 Osprey and SR71 Blackbird. Thank you, and see everyone next time.